Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday. Should be a little nicer start. Good morning, Leaffoot. Should be a little nicer morning for me. Yesterday I did blood work, so no coffee, no food till or coffee until about 10 o'clock yesterday morning. I made for a long day. There you go. You guys should be a little straighter on that. It's a chilly morning. It's, according to my car, it's 32 degrees. That's chilly for the last several days. Been in the 50s and such when I go in the morning. So I've got to wait half a minute or two before get to the subject. So it's not going to be a long debate, I don't think, but we'll see. I do want to take a moment. I know many of you that watch my channel really isn't familiar with this person, but I wanted to say it in the live at least. I want to say rest in peace, Raymond Newsom. He was in the paranormal field, did a lot for it as far as on non-celebrity side of things. Very passionate, very just a all-around great guy. Very nice. He'll be missed by a lot of people. So I want to take a moment and offer prayers to his family and friends. May you rest in peace. But yeah, I just wanted to say that at least once live. But yeah, he had a health illness that finally got the better of him. I'm not sure. Somebody said it somewhere. I missed what it was, but he, young guy, probably 30s. But it sucks, but unfortunately. So I was going to do the whole I'm Quentin Paranormal, something like that today, but, for a video. But I figured most of you guys would catch on to all that. And, being April 1st, at least I think it's April 1st, that would be awkward. But yeah, it should be April 1st today. And I thought about that whole ha-ha, but I figured you guys would catch on pretty quick. So if you are watching this today on April 1st and not like tomorrow or the next couple days or whatever, be careful for practical jokes. Because this is a day for them. Just my little word of the wise. Word to the wise. I'm not so sure if I'm wise. But sorry guys, I'm turning my heat a little bit. Like I said, it's a little chilly. But anyways, on to the topic. I've mentioned Freddie. I've mentioned Jason. And I'm sure most people think the next logical step to go would be the top three would be Michael Myers. But maybe tomorrow. I wanted to go with my little buddy, Chucky, the little doll. And there is lots of ways you could go about checking out Chucky. And that's by, you can follow the steps like they did with Annabelle, Robert the dolls on Doll Island. There's lots of teams that's investigated dolls. So you would kind of have a baseline that most teams could probably start off with. So imagine you get the phone call that's from a family before it gets too crazy that their child's doll, which is a popular doll at the time, is seen moving around the house and being found in different locations, and they can hear his son talking to him and such. So, as a group, you decide to go ahead and check it out, see what's what. Probably your first mistake, but I know we would pick it up and deal with it. And so we would get there and we would sit down with the family and talk it out, try to get everything other activities going on, or it's truly just about. See, now we would approach it as thought that there'd be a demonic force behind it. And in the case of Chucky, I don't know if you remember the storyline or not. It's not a person who passed or an entity playing around with the doll to get their attention. It's a killer. I believe it's killer. It's been a long time since I've tried to check into it. If not a killer, at least a very big thief, very big criminal that found a voodoo ritual to switch his soul into the doll's body so he could live. Now, he never wanted to be in the doll body, but he just had to because of time, blah, blah. Anyways, that's basics of it. I can't remember. Is it the guy's name, Chuck Charles? Anyways, so he does his ritual and switches over. So we would find out pretty quickly, hopefully we find out pretty quickly, that it was once a human switched over before he died. And so I'm sure the guy is smart enough, he would probably play around the Chucky doll possessed by Chuck, because I think the doll's name is Little Buddy. Smart enough to probably try to play it off as a resort. Excuse me. Sorry for the yawn. He would probably play it off as if it is a spirit possessed doll. Then he'd probably try to get us into our alone so he can start taking us out one by one. And that's one thing where you'd have some difficulties with, because we generally don't separate from each other. We usually have one person with each other the whole time outside of bathrooms. When we go on a bathroom break or something, that's different. But so he'd have a hard time getting us separate from each other. And that's generally safety reasons, so that way we don't, somebody gets hurt or not feeling well or whatever, there's another person there to help. So we would do our best to try to get names and such. We would treat it like a regular investigation. And then either eventually, if he would trick us and pretend like he left the doll and just kind of leave it alone, and then we'd have to keep going back a couple times, or he'd start trying to kill us. Now, if you go into a little further, and some reason the three dolls, they were never Chucky, his wife, and his son. They never did try to pretend to be somebody's dolls. So um, if we came across all three of them, it would be a full out attack. So I guess that's a little misleading. I'd like to say that we would try to research once we got to the point where we can. This is where our member angel would come in, I believe, where we'd have to reach out to somebody that's big into the Wiccan and voodoo communities and see if we can find a way to reverse the spell and get them out of the doll body. Because, I mean, let's face it, we've seen in the movies him being taken out in several ways, and he still comes back in one way or the other, right? He's a persistent little doll. I don't know. I like to think that if I seen a doll coming at me, I would just drop kick. Well, not drop kick it, but football punt it. Give it that good old kick. Just dolls like Chucky version. So I don't know. I just feel like I could overpower a doll. Now we talking about like Annabelle and such. Now that's a different situation because they're not trying to. They're not a human possessed doll. They're possessed by entities and such. So we would have to find a way to figure out somebody that could reverse the spells on Chucky that I use. That's probably the only way. I'm not sure. Good morning, Frank. Yes, Annabelle. Annabelle, somebody said, I can't remember where, that wouldn't it be something, and this is on topic and kind of off topic, wouldn't it be a crazy thing to take Annabelle, Robert the doll, and one or two other famous dolls, if there is any, none's coming to mind, and put them like in a room, like an AA meeting, and just put them all in the same room and see what happens. That would be a little crazy, huh? I don't know if I would want to be in that room. Can you imagine the paranormal activity in that? There's a doll, and I can't remember the name of it, on the island of dolls. That's supposed to be actually kind of good and protects you. So I suppose have that one there. They probably would team up on that one. Female spirit. They would probably team up on that doll. And, but can you imagine that? Ugh. That would probably not be good. Annabelle and Robert the doll in the same spot. One would not be good. But the question is, would they get along or would they end up fighting with each other? Their egos would be too big for, hey, I'm the star here. But the thing that gets me is how the movies switched to Annabelle from Raggedy Ann doll to what it is now. Yeah, it's a little more scary, but it's just kind of, they missed a chance to rebrand and remarket the Annabelle doll or the Raggedy Ann dolls and make a killing off that again. I'm just here for the donuts. Yeah, no doubt. That would be a wicked night having the two of those dolls together. I would, love to be on location for that. Or instead of just the one doll from the island of dolls, bring them both to the islands of doll. Now I believe they brought Robert the doll to the island at one point. Can't remember which person did that, but I think they actually did bring him to the island. Though I don't remember. Man, oh man. I did not want to get up this morning. I waited till the very last one. Excuse me. Be careful today, people. Like I said, paranormal. It's the pranksters' holidays. April 1st. So, but yeah, I did not want to get up this morning. I know I wanted to, and then I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't get a chance to really look into a topic yesterday. So I figured I'd go along with the horror theme. And Chucky, he's a cool little doll with family problems. I don't remember how his family how he got his wife and son. It's been a long time since I watched the movies. Now you know who's a bad ass fighter for paranormal is Ash. Ash from Evil Dead. Now that dude, I would not want his life. Yeah, I told you they didn't even start making work yesterday here. Speculates March 31st. They haven't even touched nothing. But yeah, Ash from Ash versus Evil Dead. That guy's constantly going with paranormal. All because he went to the Cabins in the Woods score to get a little female action going on. I'll admit that movie still kind of spooks me out a little bit. Not the first one. The first Evil Dead was kind of The second one, they really hit the nail on the head on that one. That'd be cool to have Ash come investigate with us. That'd be groovy. I need some coffee. I'm a little more tired than I thought. I'm trying to quote and say things like, that'd be groovy. So you guys have any pranks ready for people? I don't. I'm just gonna buy. I'm just gonna drive by everybody and not pick them up today. That'll be my prank. And when they say what's going on, I'll say April Fools. How's that sound to you guys? Well, guys, since I really don't have much more to say, and I'm just kind of blabbing about much of nothing, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm gonna go grab some coffee. I am not picking up any breakfast today because I brought in a breakfast bowl. So hopefully I'm not too late today. But so I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you have a wonderful day. Watch out for pranks. Hopefully the weather will come back around, which it's not supposed to. You're welcome. Like I said, I was gonna do a video where I started off with, "Oh, I'm leaving the paranormal, blah blah blah," but I figured, nah, you guys are too quick for that. But so be careful of things that sound a little suspicious. Don't be gullible today. Remember, April 1st, so be good to each other. Watch out. This is your warning from Mr. Fedora to keep your head on a swivel. So, but time for me to go get some coffee. So, y'all have a good day. Remember, stay spooky, my friends.
Well, hey everybody, thanks for stopping down and appreciate the visit. Now get the hell off of my porch. We'll see you the next time. Come on back.